So I had a working theory about the index and its issues with layer shifting, but that is not how the print looked when we left the shop. Let's get into it. So at least the fun thing with this fail is that it did actually complete. It is happy, but as we can see, that's not right. Literally, this part was up here. I'll show you guys the file, but the part was up there. And I noticed some of these ridges. Now, that was because it was warping a little bit here. These other ones look a lot better. This one warped a little bit. Welcome to PLA printing in Florida. Everything hates you, and it doesn't matter. And an even more fun fail for you guys. It looks like there's filament on this roll, right? Like, I'm not the only one that looks at this and says, oh yeah, this is a roll of Galaxy Black. It looks like there's Galaxy Black on there. Wrong! This is the new spools from Prusa, and I've actually never burned through one yet. So this machine was sitting idle for like 10 hours. I thought that it was still, it's quiet enough that I don't realize it's running when I'm in the shop. And this was only a one color print, so we didn't really expect much. No, in fact, there's not filament on here, and it's not obvious, especially when it's Galaxy Black, because with even a little bit of light, this too looks like it's Galaxy Black, but I don't know. I just figured you all would get a laugh out of that. But we come back from Own Your Tampa, and this is what we find. So some of you might know what this is. It's Flocksock. We were gonna give some of these out at the event to people that wanted them, but this only further resonates with me about how 3D printers can actually tell that you're in a rush. So we were invited to be on the panel with a member from the Tampa Hackerspace, members from Fulu, and Louis Rossman as well. I only found out about that the day before the event. So I said, okay, let's fire up the printers. Threw a bunch of random spools into the U1, the Qidis were running. I had noticed this issue before we left, and yeah, 15 total, 4 succeeded. This is what the Qidis did. Welcome to 3D printing sometimes. But with these, this is not what I was expecting. Let me get a little deeper for you here. This one looks okay. We've got one little layer that moved, but it moved only on one side, which tells us that was when it started to pull up. Again, this model is not a great model, so I want to be clear, the model itself is a bit of a problem, but it was this, and it was seeing this that told me, I think I know what's wrong and why people are having issues with index. And to show that, I need to actually put a multicolor model here. We can see with the top-down lighting that, yeah, this model doesn't look great. When you look close, it looks like the layers are a little bit off. The method of picking up and putting down the index tools on the Founders Edition, I'm assuming on the Prusa Edition as well, since there's unlikely to be that much change in them, is one that in theory could leave a little bit of weeble wobble. And that's why you do the dock calibrations and things like that early on with the machine. But if everything isn't perfect, you are gonna run into problems. Because like when you put it up in lighting that's actually really nice, it looks beautiful. But as soon as that lighting becomes top-down lighting, you absolutely notice the weird kind of layer shifting. And I don't know that I'm actually ready to call it layer shifting personally. It's a shift that's common on like printers like this that are multi-tool head, but not tool changers. Like I don't notice it on the XL, I don't notice it on the U1, I only notice it on Index. So I'd love to kind of understand a little bit. I think it has to do with, and can literally just grab one of the Index heads from last week, the seating on the 3 ball bearings for the head itself. If it's not perfectly seated in a way that gives it lots and lots of pressure, you're gonna have a slight mismatch. And it doesn't have to be much to where top-down lighting exposes every little flaw. You can even see ones here with the scarf seams that we put on. But as soon as we take this and we tilt it like that, like literally, this isn't camera trickery, okay? This is lighting. This is to show you guys like how rough lighting can actually be on prints. This is the worst possible lighting that you could show, right? Every single little inaccuracy is obvious, but as soon as it's under normal lighting, front facing on it, the part looks pretty good. Maybe it is just the Founders Editions, I don't know, but I do believe it is a unique to INDX problem. The problem is we don't exactly have a solution yet, but identifying the problem is one of the first key things when you're dealing with like the scientific method and how to fix things and how to do things. And yes, of course, you know, we had the layer shift. If we want to be somewhat technical, this part likely came off, got knocked back. When that happened, the machine likely crashed to some extent, but it didn't crash enough to not be able to fix itself and put the tool back in. This was tool number 2 for reference that did all of this work. But if we look at the small pieces, absolutely beautiful. Not a single friggin' thing wrong with them. And the one in the back, other than that little pulled up perimeter, everything else looks great. You might even be able to tell where we had to switch filaments. It looks like it switched right about there. You can kind of see a slight color change. That just has to do with materials. I wish that things could be more consistent batch to batch for 3D printer filament, but we've found that it's not really possible, especially on like galaxy filaments where you have a kind of random amount of silver metal flake or black metal flake or whatever in there. This to me is something that I think we can work on. And it all comes down to index head itself. Now, if the 3 ball bearings are better seated and better attach everything, when the coil goes in, so when those 3 ball bearings contact the 3 kind of slots on the tool itself and it goes in, we want it to go down with a whack load of pressure. And that's why the spring mount for these, like all these tools are spring mounted. I can actually move the actual orange part because there is some level of allowable slop. But when everything gets tightened, right? When index locks itself in, it pushes down. If it could push down with more force, that might cause things to align. I don't know about some of you, but I remember back in the day with the XL, with the acorn nuts the XL uses on its tool heads. It was figured out early on that you had to keep them lubricated because if you didn't, they would bind and you wouldn't get it to properly seat itself. I think we might be dealing with this exact same problem, and it's something that I'm gonna try on ours, put just a little bit of the Prusa lube, if you will, otherwise, you know, known as the super lube. That should help it. Because what I believe is occurring is it's not seating properly onto the ball bearings. And when that's happening, you have an ever so slight shift, which to you and I, to the naked eye, you're not really able to notice it until all of a sudden you notice it. And on parts like the Oscar Surströmming, it looks great straight on in normal everyday lighting. But when you put top-down lighting on it, the issue becomes evident. And I don't know if anyone's talked about this yet. If they have, I haven't noticed it. So if you've thought of this idea as well, let me know. I think we're dealing with a slight misalignment on the actual index tools because they index on index through those 3 little divots. So there's a divot there, and then there's one on the bottom side as well on the heat sink itself. That's how it does all of its alignment. Get back into your position, please and thank you. Go back home.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
This is my working theory, and I think this will fix like one of the glaring flaws that people have talked about with Index, which is the perfect alignment of everything. Because in theory, this PCB here, which is your offset PCB, should handle all of this. But because you're picking up and putting it down, you leave some level of potential slop in the system. If you're not always going back and checking, you don't know for sure, which is why I wish like this PCB could be up here or, you know, somewhere where Index could always get to it, maybe on a little servo to go up and down. I know that I'm heavily feature creeping this, but perfect world, right? This is my video, I can say what I want. But that would allow you to check the offset every now and then. It's like every time you're picking up a new color for the first time in say 10 tool changes, go ahead and check it. And that might assist in getting a better overall quality product. Now, is that reasonable? No, it's not reasonable. But what is reasonable is to look at ways to get this system and those 3 ball bearings back there to actually stick together in a way that makes sense. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and I'm gonna let you guys know next week here on PrintFix Friday, because if the efficacy is there for the XL, then damn it should be here for this machine too. And I need to redo this with silver tops and bottoms. And what better way to see if this actually worked than using the exact same print when you didn't have it before? Yes, there'll be more tool changes, but it's really more of like a color change, add a layer, not so much individual tool changes. So if you like this kind of thing and you want to get your printers back to printing with purpose, you can send in your prints to us at 3D Musketeers, and we can help you out here at the shop, and it doesn't cost you anything. So if you want help with your 3D prints, get them running well, we'll help you out. But this is something that I want to get figured out. I think it's possible to get damn near perfect prints on INDX, but I think it comes down to, and this is just like so hilarious to me, INDX has to index better.
And isn't it ironic?
But I still think that this is something that can be worked on. So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. Let me know. I know the most recent firmware update made this machine operate a lot better. The profiles and the tuning for it are much better than it was previously. So I'm very, very happy about that. And if you like to see that stuff, let us know down in those comments too. Because if you have ideas, we want to try out your ideas here on this INDX Founders Edition platform that Prusa did send over to us to mess around with, because that's what this is for. This is for us to F around and find out. If you do like this kind of thing and you want to support the efforts that we do here, you can join for as little as $1 a month to get access to behind the scenes videos, live streams, things like that, that are only available to our channel members and Patreon supporters. And at the $10 tier, now you get to come hang out in our private Discord server, where I've been talking about this for a couple of days now because it has been keeping me up at night. It's something that I really like to figure out, and I bet I'm not alone there. That's all we have for you all today on this kind of single incident PrintFix Friday, but we're getting there. We are going to get good prints on this machine come hell or high water, even though I would say this print is good in this lighting, it's bad in that lighting. So it's all about the angles and the lighting, you know, because if I have the angle like this, it kind of looks like crap. That is all we have for you all today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones. Don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one.